They'll never guess that my room is messy as fuck now. Hello young duelists, and welcome to my humble abode. So last weekend I did top post-banlist regional with DLINK. I was going to do a deck profile before Utrecht, but I caught a pretty bad cold, so you might hear a few sniffles here and there. So, I have a deck profile if you want to go check that out over on GrimYGO's channel. I'll leave a link down in the description if you guys want to go and check that out. And since we're about to get Dark Wingblast, I thought it would be kind of irrelevant to go over old DLINK combos. So in this video, I'm going to be going over a few of the basic DLINK combos you should know going forward, in addition to new combos that the deck has thanks to the Bystial cards we just got from Dark Wingblast. And I'll also be doing like 2 test hands so you guys can see how it would combo with specific hands, etc. And yeah, let's just get straight into it, baby. And it begins. Welcome to the first combo. Here is the standard 1 starter card combo. You can do this combo with either Black Metal Dragon or Seyfert searching a baby dragon. So I'll just show the combo so you guys know this combo. If you want to play this deck, you need to learn this basic combo. So you start off by normal summoning your starter card. So in this combo, I'll just do Black Metal Dragon. There you go. Striker 1, Black Metal 2, add Boot Sector, add Red MD, banish Striker Dragon, summon Red MD effect, summon back Black Metal Dragon. Here you could just go Seal's Pass, but that's kind of bad. Here you link off into Romulus effect to add Ravine, then you activate the Ravine, pitch a card in hand, dump Absorouter effect, add Tracer, activate the Boot Sector in hand, Boot Sector effects special Tracer, then activate Tracer, popping the Boot Sector to special a Rocket from deck, which is gonna be Recharger in this case. Then we turn one of the dragons into a Guard Dragon Pisty. Then we turn Tracer and Romulus into Quad Burl. Now there should be an extra card in hand to discard for the Quad Burl, which I forgot to do, but imagine there is a card there. Here you go, Pisty effect to reborn dragon. Then you go Pisty plus the Tracer. It's very important that you summon a dark dragon, by the way, so you can make the Delindrous dragon here. So if you start your combo off with Seyfert, make sure you summon a dark dragon off of the Pisty. Otherwise, you won't be able to make this Delindrous dragon. And you'll see why we summoned the Delindrous dragon in just a second. So here we go, Quad Brawl effect, discard a card to target the Delindrous dragon and destroy it. Then summoning 2 rockets from grave since we destroyed a Link 2. So we summon back Tracer and the Recharger, and then since a rocket was special summoned, we can trigger the Delindrous engrave to special summon itself back. And then here we can go both the Link 2s and one of the rockets into a Boral End Dragon. And then we can use Boral End Dragon, negating the rocket remaining on board to special summon the other rocket engrave. Then we synchro off the remaining rockets into a Borrelode Savage Dragon, and then equip a Romulus from grave. So you get to Borrelend Savage off of just Black Metal and 2 discards. You can get to Borrelend with only 1 discard by just going for Tri-Burst instead of the Quad Boral, then summoning back with Pisty and then just linking all of them into a Borrelend and passing. But in most cases, you do just want to end on Borrelend Savage because the Pisty is usually really good in recurring resources because you have a lot of cards that are insane when summoned back from grave. Like you've got Chamber, you've got the Bystial cards, you've got Seyfert if you haven't used it to search something yet, you've got Black Metal Dragon if you haven't triggered that yet. You can even do spicy stuff like DMZ Dragon and Buster Locking the opponent, which we will get to in a coming combo. But yeah, that was the first combo. I'm not going to bother showing it with Seyfert because the only difference is you normal summon Seyfert, use Seyfert effect to add a baby dragon, then special the baby dragon, link off into striker, add baby dragon, add boot, special baby dragon, and then go for either seal or into ravine, and then you go to the same combo. Yeah, now let's move on to the 2-card combos. So here we have Seyfert plus Lubellion. The Bystial cards in general are so crazy for this deck. Magnamut searches every single card in your deck. Lubellion gets you just like plus infinity. This engine is so cracked for this deck. Now, when you open Seyfert Lubellion or like Black Metal Lubellion, what you usually want to do is go Lubellion first, so they don't know you're on dragons. They might think you're on branded and hold like an Ash Blossom or something for the branded fusion. I mean, no one's really playing Ash, but you know, like just in case. Then you want to normal summon your starter card, so Seyfert or Black Metal. In this case, Seyfert. So we go Seyfert, pitch itself, add a baby dragon, then the baby dragon to banish the Seyfert to summon itself, and then we link off the baby dragon for striker dragon, trigger striker and baby to add baby and boot, then banish the baby from grave to special the Bystial card, which is Bystial Saronia in this case. Now here I triggered Saronia on field, but it triggers when it's sent to grave, which will be done after we tribute it for the Lubellion, but you know, I was just skipping steps. So here you would go Lubellion, Chainlink 1, Saronia, Chainlink 2. So Saronia would dump the spell engrave, and Lubellion will place the trap. So what these cards do is rebranded, which is the card engrave. If a light or dark is banished, you can target one of the cards, place it on bottom of the deck, and draw one card. So this card is crazy for recycling resources like Striker Dragon, your baby dragons like Levi and stuff like that, and putting your rockets back in deck to always have live traces. This card is just insane. And when your opponent normal or specials, you can just target a Bystial engrave and special it back. So paired with cards like Tidying and Seals, you can bounce them back to hand, and then you have the live Bystials in hand. And if you have something like the Bystial, which pops a card if sent to grave, then you can tribute it with the trap, and then you get an extra pop off of the Bystial. So it's pretty good. And now you're wondering, if this card's in grave, how are you going to place it back? Well, this trap that we placed off of the Lubellion is crazy. So during the main phase, if you control a Bystial monster, you contribute a dragon to target a card and destroy it. And then during the end phase, you can target a branded continuous spell or trap in your grave and place it face up on your field. So this is just tribute a dragon and pop, which is crazy. And paired with the Bystial, which pops if it's sent to grave, it's even more crazy. And this card places the rebranded, which you dump off Saronia. So you can just go plus like a million, which is just nuts, really. And now let's get back to the combo now that I've discussed the Bystial cards. So here you link off both of them into the Romulus, because you don't really want to just seal pass, because seal pass is not really doing anything in this format, like, let's be honest. Here we go Romulus, add Ravine, activate Ravine, pitch a card, pitch Absorouter, add Tracer, activate Boot, special Tracer, Tracer pop Boot, special Recharger, turn Recharger into a Pisty, special the White Dragon by banishing the Striker, then link off into the Triburst Dragon, Pisty effect to summon back the Seyfert. Like, we could have gone for the Quad Brawl play again, but we just burn a card in hand if we do that play. Whereas in this combo, we burn the White Dragon instead. So it depends whether the two cards in your hand are bricks and you would rather get rid of them instead of the White Dragon. If so, you just do the Quad Brawl Delindrous line that I showed in the previous combo. If these two cards are important, like let's say the two hand traps or two Bystial cards, then you will go for this line because you don't want to discard those cards. And if you go for this line, you also get your Seyfert back engraved, which is pretty nice. And then you link off everything into Borrowland effect on the Tracer, summon back Recharger, then you get Savage. And in end phase, you can place the branded spell engrave. And if you didn't open a Bystial in hand, you can tribute the Savage to summon back the Lubellion here instead of earlier in the combo, so that you have a Bystial on board to turn on the trap. But it really just depends whether you prefer the Omni Negate or the pop. But we do play like a bajillion Bystials, so it is very unlikely that you don't see multiples. Now let's move on to the next combo. So now I'm going to showcase a combo where instead of opening Seyfert Lubellion, we open Seyfert Levi. Now this combo is slightly interesting because we can't really use Seyfert to search a baby dragon because it doesn't really do anything. But we can, however, normal summon the Seyfert and pitch the Levi to search for Lubellion, since it is in fact a level 8. And it's also a light, so you can search it off Chaos Space, giving us a good light Chaos Space target other than White Dragon. And then from here, you activate the Lubellion to add Magnamut, which is the one you want to search in this scenario, and you have no other Bystials. Link off Seyfert into the Striker Dragon as usual, Striker Dragon effect to add Boot, then special Magnamut by banishing the Seyfert and trigger the Magnamut to add an end phase. Then link off both dragons into Romulus, add Ravine. Then we go through the motions, activate Ravine, pitch 1, send Absorouter, add Tracer, activate Boot, special Tracer, pop Boot, special Recharger, make the Pisty, make the triple burst. Then Pisty effect, bring back a dragon, will bring back the Seyfert, which is very important to bring back the Seyfert for what we are planning to do here. And then we turn everything into Borrowland, activate the Seyfert engrave to add back the Levi in here, banish 3 darks, and it's important you don't banish the 2 rockets engrave. We use the Levi to hand rip their opponent, so they now have 4 cards in hand. Then we tribute the Levi to special back the Lubellion, because it is in fact a level 6 or higher Dark Dragon. And then we trigger the Lubellion to place the trap. And then we use Borrowland targeting the Lubellion, special back Tracer, then link off Tracer Lubellion into Quad Burl effect, pitch 1 to pop itself, special back 2 rockets, turn them into Savage, and then end phase resolve the Magnamut to add the Druid Worm. So your opponent is starting their turn with 5 cards, and you have 1 negate, 2 negate with Borrowland, 1 banish from grave with Druid Worm, 1 pop with the trap, and then by tributing the Druid Worm you get another send, so you have 5 interruptions for the 5 cards in hand, so pretty good. And you have insane follow-up because of Borrowland and being able to get back the Lubellion by tributing the Savage if necessary. But yeah, let's just move on to the next combo. Now I'm going to showcase what you can do with Seyfert plus 2 Bystials. I'm going to go through the play I would usually do, the more safer option. But here I would go Seyfert, pitch itself, add Baby Dragon, summon Baby Dragon, link off into Striker, trigger both, adding White and Boot, special White by banishing Black, link both off into Romulus, and here we go again. Add Ravine, activate Ravine, pitch Abso Tracer. Then here we want to summon the Magnamut, trigger the Magnamut, activate Lubellion, adding the Saronia, special the Saronia by banishing something that isn't Lubellion, and then we overlay both the Bystials into a Tum detach Saronia to special Chamber, Chainlink 1 Chamber, Chainlink 2 Saronia, adding Tidying, dumping the branded spell. Then we finally activate the Boot Sector launch, specialing Tracer, Tracer effect, pop Boot, specialing Recharger. Then here we turn the Tracer into Pisty as usual, link off a Tum plus Romulus into Triple Burst, activate Pisty, summon one of the Beastids back, and then tribute it to summon Lubellion back, effect to place the trap. Then we make Borrowland with everything except a level 4 and the Lubellion. Then we use Borrowland, negating either of them, it doesn't matter. It's a special the Tracer. Then synchro of both rockets into the Savage, equipping the triple burst, set tidying, end phase, place back the spell, and add the Druid Worm. So here we have 6 interruptions: Savage negate, Borrowland negate, Trap pop, Druid Worm pop, Tidying bounce, and Druid Worm graveyard banish. So pretty crazy off of just 3 cards. You get 6 interruptions and you have 1 card in hand after the discard. And now we're going to show a not so standard combo. It does require a lot of resources, but it does buster lock your opponent, so it is up to you. So here we are. As you can see, the hand is kind of cracked. We have opened Chaos Space, Absorouter, and 2 Bystials. So you just go Chaos Space, pitch Absorouter, adding Tracer, banish Abso, summon Baby Dragon, make Striker, trigger both to add Boot and Black. Then we special the Black, and we trigger Chaos Space, putting the white back and drawing a card, which is Fusion Destiny. Pretty good. Now this is where the combo differs a bit than the standard combo. So here, instead of making Romulus, we make the Buster Dragon Link 2, who on Link Summon sends a Destruction Sword card from deck to grave, which we will chain block with the Baby Dragon. And the card we're sending is obviously the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, which when equipped locks the opponent out of the extra deck. Next we use Lubellion to add the missing Bystial. I have a Magnamut or Saronia, which in this case it's Saronia. We special Saronia by banishing a card, special Magnamut by banishing a card, except Lubellion. Trigger the Magnamut, which is very important. And then we overlay both for a Tum. Trigger a Tum by detaching Saronia to special DMZ Dragon, which reads you can target a level 4 or lower dragon monster and a dragon monster you control. Equip that card engrave to a monster on field as an equip spell. But this combo does have the slight issue where it loses to the Bystial cards, which is kind of rough. So I personally wouldn't go for this combo, but if you do pull it off, you will most likely win like 95% of the time, because without accessing the extra deck, the opponent will have no way to break your board through Bystials plus Branded Trap plus Borrowland, Savage, etc. Now I'll showcase the rest of the combo. We dump the Branded spell from the Saronia, activate Boot, special the Tracer, Tracer effect, pop the Boot, summon the Recharger. Then we go to standard line of Pisty. Then we turn a Tum and Buster Link into Triple Burst, Pisty, summon back a Bystial, then tribute the Bystial for Lubellion. Lubellion place the Branded Trap, then link off to Borrowland. Borrowland to negate the Recharger and summon back Tracer, because you can't negate DMZ or your combo fails. Then we turn both the dragons into Savage, equipping back the Triple Burst. And finally, we used DMZ Dragon, targeting the Buster Whelp engrave and the Savage on board. And here we activate Fusion Destiny that we drew off Chaos Space, because why not? Summon the DP, get some follow-up engrave, end phase, place the spell, and add the Druid Worm. And here we have extra deck lock, Trap pop, DP pop, Borrowland negate, Savage negate, Druid Worm banish from grave, Druid Worm pop, 7 forms of interaction, plus infinite recovery. However, this line loses heavy to the Bystial cards, so I would not recommend going for this line, unless you're just a Savage. And here's the last line I'm going to show. It's basically the same 4 cards, but not playing the DMZ line. and instead just playing a standard line. The reason I'm not doing a lot of different combos is because the hands can vary and the combos change according to hands. So after these combos, I'll do 2 test hands and showcase what I will end on with those hands. So here we just go Chaos Space, pitch Absorouter, add White Dragon, trigger Absorouter, add Tracer, special White Dragon by banishing Abso and linking off into Striker, triggering Striker and Baby Dragon to add Baby Dragon plus Boot Sector. Then we special the Black Dragon, link off both dragons into Romulus. The reason we have not triggered Chaos Space is because we want to use that to put Striker Dragon back in a second. And we use Romulus to add Ravine, special Magnamut by banishing the Striker Dragon, trigger the Magnamut, then we trigger the Chaos Space, put back the Striker Dragon to draw a card. Crossout's a pretty good card. Then we go Lubellion, adding the Saronia, special the Saronia by banishing the Black Dragon, overlay for a Tum effect, special Black Metal Dragon, and then we will trigger the Saronia to dumb the Branded spell, and then we make our Seals, which is the first time it's showcased in any of these combos. Then we go Ravine to pitch a card in hand to send the Chamber Dragon Maid to grave. Then we link off the Black Metal into Pisty, trigger Black Metal to add the Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Then we activate Boot to special Tracer, pop Boot, special Recharger. Then we turn the Recharger into the Striker Dragon that we put back, trigger Pisty, bring back Saronia, tribute it to bring back Lubellion, trigger Lubellion to place the trap. Then we banish the Lubellion to summon Red MD, trigger Red MD to summon back Chamber effect to add Tidying. Then we link off 2 Dark Dragons, which is Red MD and Pisty, into Delindrous Dragon. Then we turn Tracer and Striker into the Quad Burl. Then we go Quad Burl effect to pop the Delindrous to summon back the Tracer Recharger, trigger Delindrous, bring back Delindrous, make our Burl End here. Then we go Burl End, bring back Recharger, make our Savage, set the Tidying, end phase, add Druid Worm, place the spell back, and that is the board. So we get a Savage negate, Burl End negate, Seal bounce, Seal summon into a Bystial, which we can then bounce with the Tidying to get another form of interruption. Then we get another form of interruption from Druid Worm Graveyard Bounce. Then we got the Druid Worm Pop when we tribute it off the trap. And then we've got the Trap Pop. So that is again 7 forms of interruption plus recovery from the Seal Summon, which will summon the Magnamut. And the Magnamut will search us a dragon in the opponent's end phase. And Borrowland will summon back a Rocket from grave. And we will recycle our dragons with Rebranded. And yes, this deck is crazy. I definitely think this will be a top contender for tier 1. So now I'm just going to do 2 test hands and you guys can see how I would pilot this deck. Okay, so let's just go into solo mode. Not a bad hand. We opened Black Metal Dragon, Chaos Space, Imperm, Fusion Destiny, Tidying. Now here it is a tricky question of whether you want to go for the Black Metal Dragon and just pass on Seal, Fusion Destiny, Tidying, which is a pretty good end board. It plays around a lot of hand traps, so that is a very safe line you can go for, and it does give you 4 interruptions, so that is probably the line I would go for in this situation. So I would go Black Metal, Striker Dragon, trigger both effects. And here I want to chain block the Striker Dragon because I don't want it to get gammed. And people aren't usually gammaing a Black Metal Dragon in grave, and no one's playing Ash. Now you could go for the Romulus line, but I think that's risky when we already have so many forms of interruption without playing into unnecessary stuff and wasting all our resources. So here we go, Red MD, summon back Black Metal Dragon, link both off into the Seal, Fusion Destiny. I won't waste time by dumping the fusion materials. Then we set to, and we have 4 interruptions: DPE pop, seal, tidying, plus imperm. And if we do go seal, we can summon a Bystial, and then that is another interruption. So that would make 5 interruptions, plus we have a lot of recovery in hand, plus the Magnamut search, which is the Bystial we would summon. However, we could go for Druid Worm and pop the Druid Worm with DPE to get the extra send if necessary. But 99% of the time, you would want to search the Magnamut to get follow-up for your next turn. But then again, we do get a lot of follow-up through the DP package anyway, because Celestial is crazy. And let's do one more test hand, see if we open some Bystials this time. Now this is a brick, so I will show you how to play your bricks, basically. We do want to start with activating the rebranded, because it will just give us a free draw. Why not? We go normal summon the Rocket Synchron, link off into the Tracer, Striker. We don't have Tracer yet. Then trigger the Striker to add the Boot Sector launch to hand. Now here there's 2 things you can do. You can either go Striker Dragon effect to add back the Rocket Synchron to hand, banish the Striker to special the Druid Worm to trigger the rebranded. That way we get the Striker Dragon back in extra deck, and we can special the Synchron off of the Boot Sector. However, that line does mean that we have to waste our Boot Sector there to be able to extend into the seals, which means we can't go for Romulus because we can't special the Tracer to extend our combo. So we have to go for it here. So we would banish the Rocket Synchron to summon the Druid Worm, which will trigger our rebranded, to place the Rocket Synchron on bottom of the deck, and we draw 1 card. And that card is Chaos Space, so that fixes all our issues. So here we go, Chaos Space, pitching Druid Worm. Now you would usually go for White Dragon, however, you guys have forgotten that Lubellion is a light, so we will search Lubellion in this case. And then we go Lubellion effect, adding Magnamut, wherever it is, here it is. Then we banish the Druid Worm Engrave to special the Magnamut, and we will trigger the Magnamut so that we get a dragon in end phase. And now we can overlay both Magnamut and the Druid Worm into a Tum. And we can activate a Tum and get ourselves a Chamber, and then trigger Chamber to get ourselves a Tidying. And then we can link off a Tum and Striker Dragon into Romulus, trigger Romulus to add the Ravine. There we go, Ravine. Now this pitch unfortunately will have to be the crossout designator, because we couldn't get the Chaos Space draw since we didn't have a banished monster that can't be normal summoned or set, which is unfortunate, but due to our hand there was not much we could do. So here we just dump the Absorouter, which is over here, to add the Tracer. Then we activate the boot, special Tracer, pop the boot, special Recharger. Then we turn the Recharger into Pisty, Chamber plus Romulus into Triple Burst, Pisty effect. I mean, here we might as well get the Druid Worm back in grave. And then we tribute it for Lubellion. Then we trigger the Lubellion to place the trap card. Then we link off these into Boral End. Borderland effect to negate the Tracer and summon back the Recharger. Then we make the Savage, equip the Triple Burst, set Tidying. End phase, we search Druid Worm off of the Magnamut. And here we have one Borderland negate, one Savage negate, one Druid Worm Grave Banish, one pop with Branded Beast, one Druid Worm pop, and one bounce with Tidying. So 6 interruptions again. And we did start off with a brick, but the Chaos Space off of the rebranded fixed our hand and we could play. If we didn't draw the rebranded, then we could still end on Borderland Savage by going for the Pisty lines and Quad Brawl, but we would not get the branded trap and the Tidying. So yeah, that is the deck. And as you saw, because of rebranded and Chaos Space, there's so many power cards you can draw. And if you're playing cards like Prosperity, then there's so many power cards you can dig into with the Prosperity. Because you can just blank the Chaos Space draw till your next turn, which is fine. And you're never usually resolving rebranded on your first turn, because you want to set this up by milling it out of deck with Saronia and placing it back with the trap. So the first time this will trigger would usually be in your opponent's turn. But yeah, like you just saw how good the deck is, really. This deck, I feel, is going to be a very good contender. Like, even the bad matchup, which is branded because of Albalanetus, the only problem is Super Poly. The only real problem is if they go set Albaz and then Super Poly your board away. But even then, you still have a lot of interruptions through the Druid Worm, the Branded Beast, and the Tidying. So many other forms of interruption. And you also have ways to deal with the set Albaz if they don't have the Super Poly. Because if they don't have the Super Poly and pass priority on their quick effect, then you can go Branded Beast to pop the Albaz before they contact fuse your board. So if your opponent is setting a monster, always pop that monster with Branded Beast or bounce it with Tidying, because you don't want your whole board getting fused off for Albalanetus, really, do you? But yeah, that has been the combo tutorial. Leave a like if you enjoyed the tutorial, if you like more tutorials. Sorry for being away for the last few weeks, but I was moving into my apartment. I played a regional and then I got sick, but I'm good now. So, well, I'm getting better now, so expect more content. I will be at the UK Open, so if any of you want to meet me there, feel free to come up to me. I had a great time meeting you guys at Nationals and would love to meet more of you at the UK Open. I will try to snag some deck profiles at the UK Open, one of them being mine if I do end up topping with this juicy deck. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and I'll see you guys this weekend.